Welcome back to Talking Tactics. So, RJ, I'm going to let you go ahead and lead right into it of today's topic and who our special guest is.
Yeah, it's cool. I feel like the band's back together again. You know, it just if any one of us is not here for a month, I feel like it's been forever. You know,
it's all.
And last month, you know, Sam, you was helping with the family for Lieutenant Higgins. So
yeah,
like it was just a lot going on that month, and
yeah, man.
But yeah, feels good to be back. Feels good to be back.
It does.
So
it does.
Yeah. So I thought this month would be cool to do something a little different that many people aren't really doing in the fire service, and I thought it would be a good idea to bring on somebody who is a person in the fire service who doesn't have a lot of time on. Everything that we do in the fire service, we're always talking about people with a lot of experience, people with a lot of time, and people who just have years and years of knowledge and experience to share. For most people that know us, we always feel like sometimes the best people to teach people are people like you. So, you know, sometimes if you know, senior guy, sometimes it's good to hear from another senior guy and share, you know, stuff back and forth. Sometimes if you're a young guy or a young girl, sometimes it's nice to hear from other senior people, but sometimes you also may want to hear it from somebody who also may not have a lot of time on. So I thought it'd be pretty cool, and I pitched it to you guys that we bring on one of my guys who's a great guy, but doesn't have a lot of time on. And I think it was pretty fitting that I bring on one of my shift mates, Brayden Masters, who is a good dude on the job in Frederick. And also I thought it would be pretty cool to tie him to this, as everybody of this group knows his father is a battalion chief in Montgomery County, and we all had the pleasure of being able to work with or alongside his father. So I thought it'd be pretty cool that we bring on Brayden. So Brayden, welcome to the Fire Engineering Talkin Tactics podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite.
All right, so real quick, because everybody doesn't know you, they all know us. Introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your family background.
Yeah, so I've been in Frederick County a little over 2 years now. Been a volunteer in Carroll County for a little bit longer than that, about 5 years. Grew up kind of surrounded by the fire department. Both my grandfathers, uncles, obviously my dad, all career firefighters in different jurisdictions around Maryland and DC. So grew up listening to a lot of stories and kind of always knew what I wanted. So kind of got into it young, graduated high school and went straight to the academy pretty much. So
Brent, tell everybody how old you are.
20 right now. Got hired when I was 18.
Now, is this the time where we say like, hey, I got belts that are older than he is? Or?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can't even take the kid to a good fire and go celebrate the shift or day after with an ice cold beer.
Man.
Hey, don't worry, Brayden. I got hired. I was 18 years old too, man. So I was pure entertainment for them dudes that were a lot older than me. So fortunate for you, you got hired at a young age, and that's awesome. And it's the family business apparently. So, hey, man, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you. I remember when your name came across the desk when we were looking at all the applicants, and I saw the name. I'm like, is that guy related to Jason? And I think the fire chief, has intimate knowledge of who you are, and that was a fact. So it was a shoot-in for you.
I thought it'd be pretty cool to do something a little different and just talk about life as a young guy in the fire service and switch it up from a lot of the experienced guys talking and let him open up a little bit about life as a young guy. So Brayden. So real quick, just tell everybody a little bit about Academy. So what it's like to go through a fire academy, and a little bit about our fire academy in Frederick. And then tag on to that and just talk a little bit about how you navigated academy, what it was like for you, and the things that you did as a recruit.
Yeah, Frederick County. Obviously, I've only ever done one academy, but I've heard talk about a lot of other ones, and Frederick County definitely puts on a pretty good academy. It's pretty difficult. It was 7 months, 28 weeks. I think it was 9 different classes that we took. PT every day was difficult, but it was kind of like, it was weird. The first couple weeks are difficult. It's brand new. No one knows each other. All the instructors talk about teamwork, and the faster you work together as a team, the easier the entire academy becomes. And it was definitely true. A couple weeks into the academy, once we got closer and started to work together, the rest of the academy was just became pretty fun. I kind of miss it. So for me personally, I think one of the biggest keys was listening a lot more than I talked. Just kind of, it's real easy if you just do what they say to do. Don't, I guess try to argue or do your own thing. Just do what the instructors say, and they're going to lead you on the right path. So just having that trust in them and following their word is the biggest key.
Now talk a little bit about how what your days are like as a recruit. So navigating like your day and things that you try to manage as a recruit. So what it's like. So some things to remember. Sometimes people watching or listening may have a different kind of setup or a different kind of layout where they're from. So you have to kind of like explain a little bit and like in depth a little bit more about what it's like for you, like a typical build out of your day,
Yeah. So our academy days started at 7. I normally, most of my class, we were there between 5 and 5:30. Gave us plenty of time to get our uniforms right, do a little bit of studying in the morning, especially test days. We'd be there, even a little bit earlier than that sometimes to get a little last minute studying in. Fill up our camelbacks. We always carried water. Filled up the water buckets before PT, all that kind of stuff to get ready for the day. So getting there early was definitely a huge key to success for the rest of the day, having time to get yourself ready. And then 7 o'clock, we were expected to be outside ready for PT. That was an hour, so 7 to 8 we would PT. Mondays we would run. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we would do some sort of strength and conditioning workout. And then we had Wellness Wednesday, so we'd do Wednesdays we would have someone talk about nutrition, do some stretching, kind of just a recovery day in the middle of the week. And then after that, we usually had about 20 or 30 minutes to get showered, get our uniforms on, and be seated in the classroom, and then start the day, start class. During the fire classes, sometimes that would entail also like being outside in gear ready. So that time, 20, 30 minutes isn't a lot of time to, get 30 people through the showers, get dressed, get all your stuff together before class. And so that was kind of one of the things, like, teamwork. Beginning of the academy, there was no system. It was messy, and we were never on time, and we got punished for it a lot. But then, after a couple weeks, we kind of made a system that worked for us, and one of those things that made the whole day smoother. So yeah, we'd have class for a couple hours, lunch in the middle, and then finish out class. Academy would get out at 3. A lot of days I can remember, especially in EMT, there's a lot of book work and PowerPoints. So a lot of days we would stay an hour or two after class and have study sessions at the academy. They always told us as long as there was some sort of staffing at the academy that we could be there. So we would stay there. Sometimes we would leave, go get lunch somewhere and study there. And then, you go home, pretty much get your uniform ready, get it ironed, cleaned up for the next day, do whatever homework you have, do some more studying at home, and then go to bed and do it all again the next day.
Yeah, so it's crazy because I always tell people, like, I remember what it was like for me when I was in rookie school, and hell, it feels like it was like just yesterday. And it's funny, today I was talking about how I'm coming up on my 19th year in Frederick, and I feel like it was just yesterday I was doing a lot of all of these same things, but it does. It's crazy how fast it goes by, and you're already on year number 2, right? So you're on year number 2. Talk a little bit about when you graduated. So where'd you go, and what was it like to be now a rookie in a firehouse?
So I graduated August 11th of 2023. 2 days later was my first shift at Station 1 in Frederick. Busy station. We stayed pretty busy throughout the day. Luckily for me, there was 2 classes that graduated at the same time, so they doubled up a couple stations. So it was me and another guy that both went to Station 1 on A shift. We were rookies at the same time, so we quickly figured out how to balance. Basically, we were on a front and a back ambulance. Most of the time we were both riding aid, and we would just switch between the front and back every shift. And it was just mainly whoever was on the back would do a lot of the housework. So, doing all the cleaning, morning chores, cleaning the bathrooms, getting coffee made, all the regular stuff. And then we would have the weekly chores, deep cleaning certain parts of the firehouse and checking over, different apparatus. So I definitely think I was lucky to have that other person to kind of balance the workload. But yeah, it was definitely hard to find that balance for the first couple weeks. Running 10 calls a shift, sometimes more than that. Balancing that with rookie book, chores, training, all that kind of stuff. And then also still, I tried to prioritize spending time with the guys, just listening to stories, listening to what they had to say. You can learn a lot from that. So that was definitely a priority of mine.
So one of the things, I was writing down some notes when you were in recruit school, and full disclosure, I never went to a recruit school when I got hired. We didn't have any in Montgomery County. I was a high school cadet, so we already had my training when I got hired. How difficult was it? I mean, obviously you're bringing in 20 or 30 people that have different work ethics, different attitudes, different approaches to whatever. Some may have come with experience, some didn't come with experience. How difficult was it to finally, kind of get everybody together to become a team? I remember when I was in Montgomery County, I was an instructor, so we taught a lot of the recruit classes, and we would see, and Sam can attest to this, when he was working there, the first few weeks, the recruits, they just weren't on the same page. They were all over the place. They were late getting to places. They didn't have their gear right, no attention to detail. We would end up putting them in a room and we would, basically all the instructors would get up there and we'd start yelling at them, say, obviously you guys don't want to be here. Why don't you quit? There's a Burger King across the street. Go put your application in there. We don't need you here. You guys suck. We've had, we could get better recruits if we just get rid of you. You think you should just quit. You guys need to get your shit together. You need to figure it out. You got 5 minutes to figure this out. And then we would leave and we go into the classroom next door and we would listen. And you would always hear somebody stand up and say, like, look, motherfuckers, this is the job that I want. You better get your shit together. And then kind of everybody would start to gel a little bit. We did that on purpose. So I don't know if they did that in Frederick's Academy, but how long did it take before everybody was like, hey, we need to put all of our differences aside and who we are and our experiences, and we need to start working together if we want to come out on top and not get yelled at or have to do extra reminder type of, can't call it punishment, of things. So how long did it take that to happen? Did that happen?
Yeah, it definitely did for us. But it took a couple weeks. Like you said, some people come with, fire department experience, military experience, other, whatever they did with their life before the academy. Everyone kind of came in with their own opinion on how things should be run. And for Frederick County specifically, in the beginning, they would, it was just about every day they would change the squad leaders and platoon leaders. Mess up one thing, you got fired. It was on to the next person. So like the leadership between, my classmates was changing every day, which I think they definitely did on purpose, but it makes it challenging because there's no consistency. And it does take a couple weeks to realize, like, getting the class on time, getting through the showers, all that kind of stuff. That was one of our biggest struggles, just because, it's a hard thing to do in that amount of time. And it was a lot of days of us having conversations between ourselves, like, hey, this isn't working. We got to figure out something that works. And again, everyone has their opinion on how it should be done. And kind of goes back to my thing of just listening, going along with whatever, because, everyone might have a different plan, but as long as you stick with one plan and everyone listens to it, it'll probably work. So just kind of going with the flow was the way I tried to do it. I tried to use my, what experience I did have when I felt it was necessary. But for the most part, when someone came up with a plan, just go with it. Faster you can get everyone on the same page and do the same, be on the same plan, everything comes together. And then it was probably a month or two into the academy, we got our permanent, squad leaders and our permanent platoon leader, class leader. And then once we had that set in place, it became easier, I thought. Having the same leadership, you kind of learn how, those leaders work. And then, everything kind of became easier because you knew, kind of knew what their plan was going to be, for different tasks.
I know, and RJ can attest. I know RJ can attest that. I know Frederick's probably got one of the hardest academies in the Mid-Atlantic area. I don't get a chance to see the recruits out there, but I'm going to swing over to Sam real quick. So, Sam, you led a bunch of recruit classes, so you're seeing it from the administrative as well as the instructor end. What are some of the things that you did, to kind of tune these the new recruits up? I know them firing these squad leaders, that's to teach a little bit of humility. Like, hey, maybe you're not as good as you think you are, and you're not doing the job right, so we're going to get somebody else to do it. Teach them a little bit of humility. So, Sam, speak to when you were the leader running these academies. What was your plan, and what were some of the things that you saw? What was your end result to get these guys on the page?
Well, I had, obviously I wasn't alone in that office. I had the support of a great lieutenant who I actually, all of us have worked together with Adam Nichols. He was my Look, I'll tell you, I owe Adam a tremendous lifetime debt of gratitude, because he pretty much ran it, and I supported him. And that it's the thing is, it's almost like when I was in DC public schools. Like, every minute you have them, you've got to get something in them, because you only have them for a finite period of time. And the material we have to go over, not just the basic stuff, but if we want to be able to get some reps in, we've got to maximize our time. So we were always trying to maximize our time, so we didn't have any time wasted in the hallway or with breaks or that kind of stuff. We really tried to keep it as tight as we could, so we could get the maximum amount of instruction in each day.
And RJ, talk a little bit about, I know that Brayden sees it from the recruit end, but talk to the audience and let them know why Frederick County's probably got one of the hardest, if not in the state of Maryland, at least in the Mid-Atlantic area, the hardest recruit classes to go through, why it's so tough, and what they get in the end result, because you're there all the time. You're teaching these classes.
Yeah, the fire service as a whole, it doesn't matter if it's Frederick, anywhere else, is based off of a paramilitary kind of organization, And when you have a mix of people coming in from all over, different walks of life, different cultures, that kind of thing, you got to try to streamline everybody or funnel them into a process and get everybody on the same page. One of the biggest things I think that Frederick prides itself on is the end result of, taking a whole hodgepodge of people, and at the end result is getting everybody to be one voice, one sound, and everybody sharing that camaraderie, that brotherhood, that sisterhood. I will say that one of the things that we try to do is again, I'm just a small part of it, being a support instructor. But the biggest thing is trying to get people built up for 20 to 25 years of a very dangerous job. You have to start somewhere, and it starts literally with boots on the ground at our academy. One thing I want Brayden to talk about, which I wrote down, and I don't even think he realized how many times he used the word, but time. Time is huge, and I don't think people realize the time that is involved. One of the things he talked about was getting in early, leaving late. So Brayden, I would like for you to speak a little bit about time, and now transitioning a little bit more into the firehouse as it relates to time. So talk a little bit about time and in your 24-hour day, being busy, running calls and stuff like that, how time plays a huge factor in your day, because again, that's something that us as instructors all try to do, is build the day of recruits, factoring time. And like Sam said, you only have but so much time. And so it's kind of interesting, and I kind of too want to hear it from him as a young man on the job, but like time as it relates to now how you use that or to your help or disadvantage in the firehouse.
Yeah, it's there's never enough of it. So trying to find that balance, so in the firehouse, our shift started at 6. I still, when I was on probation, even still, I'd get there at 4 o'clock, 4:15. When I was a rookie, it was kind of the same morning routine from 4 to 6. It was the same thing every day. Walk in, start the coffee, put my gear on whatever unit I'm riding, do my checks. That usually took me until about 5, and then use the rest of that time to, check my, email, timesheets, all that kind of thing. I would normally sweep the firehouse before most people were in there moving around, try to get that done. And then also, so we did line up at 6 o'clock. Everyone met at the kitchen table. Me and the other rookie, we would split it. One of us would bring a EMS protocol so we had different sessions in our rookie book that had different protocols and different policies to focus on for that session. So one of us would bring a EMS protocol. One of us would bring a Frederick County policy from our rookie book. We would bring that to line up, talk about that. So that was also kind of part of my morning routine, printing that out, reading over it before I talked about it at the table. And then, so do that, go over the policy, procedure. We would do our streets every morning. And then after that, most of the morning, try to, do things like morning chores, clean the bathrooms every morning once everyone was out of the bunk room. Try to get, work out in the morning. And then the rest of the late afternoon after lunchtime was normally spent doing some sort of training, doing the weekly station cleaning or apparatus checks. And then, balancing that with running calls in between all that. One of the big things that I did, I don't know if if it'll work for everybody, but like my reports for my calls, kind of did what I could at the hospital on the way back. And then I would save them until the nighttime, and I would finish them all at night just because I didn't want to be sitting in the office doing reports while everyone else was out training, talking, telling stories. It kind of goes back to, like, I always wanted to try to spend as much time around the rest of the shift as I could, just trying to pick up on every little thing that I could. So I saved that stuff until the nighttime, waited for everyone else to go to bed, and then I would take that time to go sit in the office and do my reports and that kind of stuff. And then, another thing in between all that was studying, finding time to study, what was in my rookie book. Again, having that other rookie, we could sit there and quiz each other. We were both learning the same things, both, testing out of each session in our rookie book at the same time. So being able to bounce ideas off each other and help each other in that way was a huge help. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's just finding that balance and trying to get everything done in that short amount of time was difficult, but there is time to do it all.
I know we when I had rookies when I was a captain in Montgomery, and I would tell, we were at busy stations. It's like, look, we really want you to do your rookie stuff at work, but there's a fine line. There's only so many hours in the day. You definitely need to get your sleep, especially if you're going to be running 3 or 4 calls after midnight. Did you find yourself having to take your stuff home and doing your rookie work at home? And I know as instructors, we were like, hey, the firehouse is the place to do this stuff. So when you go home, you can be off. But when you're at a busy station, you may find yourself having to actually do your recruit class at home. You're fortunate that you're young enough, you're living at home, your dad understands. But somebody that's might be older, maybe married or whatever, wouldn't understand that. So did you find yourself having to actually, hey, look, there's not enough hours in a day at work, I'm going to have to take care of some of this stuff at home?
Yeah, there was times for that. Some of the projects we had, like inventories, or typing some stuff I did at home. But a lot of the studying, like the policies and procedures were kind of the main things to study. And then we had different trainings that we had to get checked off on. Obviously the training we had, couldn't really do that at home, but a lot of the studying was, I did some at home, but again, having that other person to kind of not necessarily split the load, because we both had to know everything, but that kind of each of us bringing something to the table, rather than only being able to do one thing at a time, helped kind of divide that time up. So I didn't have to do a ton at home, but there were definitely times where things had to get done, and I didn't have enough time at work. So
Did you find yourself learning some time management? That's the biggest thing. Like RJ had brought up time, Sam brought up time. We know that there's only so much time, and coming into the fire service young, first of all, having somebody yell at you that's not your dad when you're in the training academy, and then learning that time management. That's such a critical skill that I tell you what, even adults can't figure that out. But I figured within the first couple of weeks, you had to learn, not only how to do time management to make sure that you're in uniform and ready to go in the classroom, but also now being at a busy firehouse, and you're fortunate that you are at a busy firehouse, you're going to learn a ton. But just that time management skill is so critical, because as you move forward in your career, you're going to be able to split the time for studying, for promotional exams, and family life and things like that. So do you feel that you've kind of learned a little bit about that, or was there a moment that it clicked and go, oh, if I do this, this, and this, I can make this happen? Or is it just something that happened organically, and next thing you know, you're doing it?
I don't think there was necessarily like a single moment in time. I think both in the academy and once I graduated, it was a couple weeks of troubleshooting, trying to figure out what worked for me. But you just gotta prioritize. You find your priorities. Figure out what needs to be done at work, what can be done at home if needed, and then just trying to find that flow that works for you, I guess, throughout the day. And like I talked about my morning routine, like it was the same every day. And even when we got our new rookie a couple months ago, I came in the first couple shifts, and I think I talked to the other guy that was a rookie with me. I was like, man, I don't really know what to do with my morning now. Like, I gotta let him do it. I was like, making the coffee, all that kind of stuff. I was like, that, I had it down where I didn't even have to think about it, and I had to find a new routine, kind of. So.
That's one of those things you'll find that you're not always going to be the new guy.
Right.
But, a couple of things that you said that I wanted to compliment you on. Finding out that, hey, if I get to the academy a little earlier than normal, I can study, I can get everything together, I make sure everything's good to go. But that transitioned into, and I saw Sam smiling, but that transitioned into getting to work. Yeah, work starts at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're at work by 4:30. That's phenomenal. And don't ever lose that. I loved being the first person at work, because I would make the coffee, even if I had 20 years on the job. It means I got the first cup of coffee. Same thing at work. I show up at headquarters. I'm the first one on the floor, and I can get so much work done. So that's something that carried over from, when I first started as a firefighter. So don't ever lose that. Don't ever I can hit snooze one more time because I can be at work. That discipline is important, and that will transition into when the new rookies come in. When you're at work before them, the first thing you need to be saying is, brother, you need to be at work before me. That coffee should already be made. And if they're not doing that, that's where you can, now you're picking up the reins. You're not the what'd you say? He's the senior rookie now. You're not the young guy anymore. So hats off to you, man. Keep that up, because that's some of the things that us, the old hats, like to see, is that, that's a great work ethic. You're showing up to work an hour and a half, 2 hours. That pays dividends in a busy station. If you relieve that dude that's on the ambulance that's taking a beating all night, they're not going to forget that. And here's something that'll transition into as an officer. When I was an officer, if I knew you would be coming to work an hour and a half, 2 hours early, and you slipped up and you actually were late, I will work with you to find you somebody to hold over for you. But if you're showing up to work 5 minutes before shift starts, we don't give a shit. You're late. You're going to be doing the paperwork. So that's something to think about, especially if your power goes out and you're used to getting up 3 hours early and you're at work 2 hours before it starts. Your power goes out and you might get to work on time as opposed to being late. So without me rambling on, my hat's off. Man, I respect that.
I want to tag on that real quick, Dave, because you mentioned old heads, and I'll put this out a little bit more, and then I'll have him explain a little bit more. So where we work at Station 1 is, I would probably say, the hub of all of the traditional style old school firefighters who come in the morning time for coffee, to the point where they actually call themselves the coffee club. And it's all of firefighters from not just Frederick, but Montgomery County, Howard County, a lot of different neighboring jurisdictions. They all come in every single day religiously between 6:15, 6:30, somewhere in that ballpark, and they'll stay for 2 hours. And every single day, they all have coffee at the firehouse. And I can tell you this, the age gap of years, or the year gap between myself and Brayden is almost 17 years. And even myself, I like to spend time with those guys in the morning and listen to the stories and listen to the history. Frederick is a very old city. It's a very old place. And a lot of these guys have a lot of that history and that knowledge with them. And what better place to be than at the kitchen table, and to be able to sit amongst those people and share coffee with them, and to be able to pick up experience, and to be able to pick up, the history lessons that you just can't get. You know what I mean? And so that's what Brayden is talking about when he says to spend time with the guys in the morning. And I wanted to just expand upon that a little bit for anybody who is listening. The best thing that we can do in the fire service is share knowledge. And when we have older guys who are sharing knowledge with younger guys, these younger guys need to hear these things to be able to uphold the traditions that we want to continue to see. And a lot of places you go to is like, oh, the tradition's gone. It's not there. It doesn't exist. Well, why is that, right? Is it because we're not sharing that information, or is it we're not keeping it alive? Here you have a 2-year guy who's spending time with guys who were 60, 70, 80 years old, and sharing history of the department. So now let's put that in perspective, right? Now we have a new young guy, or a new person comes in. Now a guy with 2 years on the job can share history of his company with a brand new guy. You know what I mean? That is huge. And I just wanted to tag on. He talked about that a little bit, but I wanted to just expand upon that a little bit more for them.
And I can 100% attest to the coffee club at One Engine down there. Their fire chief, their volunteer chief, or the corporation chief told me what their budget is for coffee. And them dudes are there every day. And I've said it on this show, said it 1,000 times. If an old guy sitting down at the table getting ready to regale you with a story, shut your mouth and open your ears and listen to what he's getting ready to say, and you're going to gain some knowledge. And we talked about that with the old New York City guy that stopped our entire class in Atlanta to tell stories.
Oh, yeah.
God rest his soul. But so again, Sam, I'll kick it over to you. I see throw your 2 cents in there.
No, I mean, listen, the big ups on keeping that getting in early thing. I can tell you, it'll pay dividends through your entire career. If it's not giving somebody an opportunity who has like young kids at home to get early relief, to get home on time, it's picking up a fire. I lost count of the number of fires I got at shift change when I wasn't my shift wasn't officially on duty. And sometimes, like right when you're coming in the back door, the bell's ringing, and you're throwing your stuff in the back and the middle. There's 5-person pumpers, and you're the 5th dude riding down the road, excited because, hey, you got up an extra hour early than most people did, and you got to work that early. It pays dividends across the board. And even in my job now, I work at headquarters. Getting in early, I can actually get a lot of work done before people come in and start distracting me. So that early in philosophy, man, keep it up, and it'll pay dividends your whole career.
Yeah.
So what else you got, RJ?
This is a hot topic. I'm gonna put it out there. We've mentioned this word quite a bit, but this is a hot topic in the fire service: balance. So a lot of times I know people, say you have to have that work-life balance, and it should be more on this end or more on that end. I would like to let Brayden talk a little bit about balance and how he had to juggle, the balance between, home life and, work life and trying to establish a name for himself as a brand new firefighter. I think that this is going to be a very valuable conversation to a lot or this part of the conversation is going to be a very valuable part of the conversation to a lot because, a lot of times people as new firefighters don't know where they need to, put more of their weight on the end of the cart. So, Brayden, talk a little bit about balance and what it was like, how you managed it, and only you don't have to, say people have to do this or that, but how did you navigate it for you, and where was all of your weight?
Well, I definitely, I'm pretty lucky. I think I had it kind of easy because, being young, living at home still, I don't have a family that I have to come home and take care of. Not to say I don't have responsibilities at home, but probably not as many responsibilities as some other people. And for me specifically, fire department's kind of, like I said, I grew up in it, and it's always, it's kind of just who I am, I feel like sometimes. So even at home, I'm always thinking about it, but which, may not, I don't know if it's good or bad, but yeah, I mean, you do kind of have to, you got to get away from it sometimes. I feel like you got to, you gotta do other things at home, kind of separate yourself from it. That way you can come in fresh, your next shift, especially if it's, stressful, I guess, at work. Coming in fresh the next shift, that, helps kind of relieve that. You don't come in, already stressed out, hot, not having a good day to begin with. So kind of hitting that reset button, I guess, in between shifts was, kind of something I tried to do. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I can talk much about that. It's I feel like I try to, like, I'm always thinking about it.
That's good.
You're not alone. I can tell you right now, all three of us are always thinking about the fire department.
It is okay. It is okay to love the job.
It is okay.
And it is okay to listen. We're self-deprecating. It's hard to compliment ourselves, but
Dave, this is getting ready to be a good part coming from Sam. I'm actually excited for what he's getting ready to say right now.
No, man, look, I've been the best firefighters I know are buffs, and
I'm gonna take some notes.
I can't tell you how many times I buffed jobs off duty. You show up. That's why you always carry. Frederick's got 2 sets, right? 2 sets of gear. No, well, always carry your 1 set with you. Always have it with you, man. You never know, and nobody's going to yell at you for showing up and helping. And if they do, give them my phone number. Especially now.
I couldn't wait for this part for Sam to chime in about how it is okay to be a buff.
I'm telling you, man, your whole, the love for and it doesn't have to, and that's the great thing of it. You have this thing that drives you, that compels you to do things above and beyond what the career basic, the basics of what the career asks for you. And those are the things that when you retire, you can still do. You can still buff jobs. You're not going to show up and start tossing ladders, but you can still be into the job when you retire. And that's the beauty of staying, of just, don't ever, and you'll run into these people. You may have already run into people, people that are salty and everybody's wronged them and whatever, but they may say, oh yeah, man, look, don't get too eat up with it. No. Giddy up with it. It's okay.
It's
the best way to be.
Sam said, it's okay to love this job. I can tell you right now, my wife will come down here. There are many times that I see a column of smoke off in the distance, and we drive for 30 minutes, and we ain't getting any closer. And finally, I just have to say, well, obviously that fire is really far away. We've chased columns of smoke. We buffed jobs. Sam will tell you, we were calling each other on the phone. He was doing a ride along with me as a battalion chief, and we ended up coming in on a working fire. We had our gear with us.
Look, Brayden, 2-cylinder fire. It was awesome. But David say, "Hey man, it's not looking good in there. I need you Division 1." And we went in and had 2 cylinders worth of work. It was awesome.
It's like RJ said, it's okay, and Sam, to love this job. This is the best job in the world. We'll tell you that hands down. I mean, we think about the fire service when we're off. When we're on duty, we're always thinking about how can we make something better? Hey, this didn't go so well. How can we make that better? Hey, this tool does a good job. How can we make that tool a little bit better? We're always thinking. And like Sam said, don't let anybody take away your passion. You can love this job. I still volunteer. I've been a volunteer since I was 12. I still volunteer. RJ still volunteers. I can grab Sam. We'll get in the car. We can go run calls together. Brayden, you still volunteer. Don't ever lose that passion. Always thrive to want to learn more about the job, because this is our life. This is literally, the better we are, the safer we are. The more we think about the job, the more we think about making ourselves better, making your shift better, you're contributing. So it's okay. Not everybody is going to be into the job like you are or like we are, and that's okay too. I don't want everybody to have to be like me, but don't put me down just because I think about the fire department all the time. That's just who I am, and it's okay. Love the job.
Yeah, I'll tag onto that too. I think that when I look back at my rookie year, I had a very, very good mentor, Pat McTighe, which is the son of senior man Pat McTighe, who retired from Montgomery. But his son was my mentor, and I did a lot of trying to make a name for myself, trying to show my shift, trying to show the guys and girls on my shift that I was all in. And I think the biggest thing to put emphasis on is that when you are going through your probationary year, you have you're pretty much, you're auditioning. You're showing your shift. You're showing your people. You're showing the people from your job, not just your firehouse, but outside of your firehouse, the companies you run with. You're showing people that you're a good person. You're a person of good character. You're a person who cares about the job. You're a person that they can call on or rely on if something needs to get done on a job. So in order to do that, people have to know that the person that they're going to call on, the person that they have in front of them, is a guy or a girl who cares about the job, who is all in. Your first couple years are dedicated to just perfecting the craft and perfecting your craft, to making yourself better. Being able to take as many classes, going to expos and conferences, watching seminars, doing things like this, getting around other people. Those things are all things that you are doing in your first couple years to just build up your knowledge and your street base for being able to do the job. So it is no shame to say, man, I am all in. I love this, and I love doing it, even in my days off. We all do. It's just one of those things. And, I'll tell you this, and I'll tell anybody else listening. One thing that makes my heart happy, is that I get to work with guys like you and get to work with other guys, who are all in, who all care about it. It's a good thing when, you're off and a call goes out and you want to listen. You want to listen to hear what's going on. You want to listen to hear, the tactics that are being deployed. You want to listen to hear, things that are things that are going on in that call, to help you put it in perspective for when the time comes for you. So I got to give you kudos for that. And I think all three of us would agree it is okay to say that you love it that much that you you want to deal with it and listen to it on your day off. So never be ashamed. Never be ashamed to say that, man. It's a good thing,
And like RJ said, to tackle on that, go do the training. I mean, you'll get the training that you need at the training academy with the classes you need to promote and everything. But there's so many other things that are out there that are outside of the fire department, but are still fire related training, conferences, seminars, going to expos, just being around other firefighters, looking at other tools, reading trade magazines, watching, trade videos, things like that. Better yourself. It's meant to make you a better firefighter, and you owe that to you. You owe that to your family and your shift mates to be the best that you can. And never stop learning. RJ runs our company, and we're old dudes and we're still out there. We feel like we owe it to the fire service to give back what we learned. So don't ever be afraid to say, hey, you know what? I want to go do that. I want to go take this class. I want to go, make myself better. Don't let everybody pull you down. Make yourself better. So we are coming down to, as Frank Ritchie famously says, the witching hour. I'm going to run around the horn a little bit, but Brayden, I want to hear a little bit more from you. Where are you now? What are you looking at? I know when we were talking offline, you want to stay at Station 1. Obviously, there's so many people that want to be in the city departments that run some calls. We know that Frederick can sometimes be notorious for moving people around, but wanting to be at a busy station, that's a good thing. So, what are some of the things that you're doing now? You've been off probation now for a little over a year. As RJ says, you're the senior rookie. What's in your horizon? What are you looking at? You looking at going to the paramedic route, or just going to continue to take your classes to move on to technician and keep on going?
Not necessarily the medic route. I don't think I'm going to do that, but short-term goals, trying to get my classes to promote to Fire 2, Fire 3 coming up, and then start focusing on, the more promotional classes. Hoping, in the next year or two, maybe start doing my driver's training, that kind of stuff. But yeah, really just trying to, like you said, trying to stay at 1 as long as I can. I love it there. And trying to one of the biggest things I try to do is still keep myself grounded, I guess. I kind of still think of myself as the rookie sometimes. Still try to make sure stuff gets done and try to be a mentor to him, to the new rookie. Still trying to take on as many jobs and responsibilities around the firehouse as I can, because I like helping out and just trying to feel like I'm still still got to prove myself. I'm off probation, but I'm still a pretty young guy. Still don't have as much experience as everyone else. Which, I know will come with time, but there's still, things I have to prove, I feel like. So, even though I'm off probation, I'm trying not to lose that mindset of, getting things done. I don't want to just fall into the recliner and give up on everything. So it is actually, on our rookies Kelly Day, kind of leaves me back in my rookie spot. So kind of get to go back to that a little bit sometimes, but that's kind of my biggest thing, is just trying to mentor him, kind of show him, he knows now, but showing him what needs to be done as the rookie, and trying to help him be successful, and keep the station clean and keep it running the way it should be, or my biggest focus is.
Brayden, if you could give some advice before we sign off, if you can give some advice to a firefighter that is around your years, so somebody who just stepped into the firehouse to that 2-year mark, what are some things that you would give them as advice to be good?
I guess they say you got 2 years in one mouth for a reason. Listening a lot more than you talk is, I think, big. Listening to the coffee club members, the older guys that still come in, listening to their stories, listening to the history, listening to the senior guys on my shift, because they've been there, they've done it more than I have. They know better than I do, for the most part. So it's there's always something to pick up when someone else is talking. So not that you can't have a voice, but just trying to listen, just listen to the stories, listening to everyone teach, and picking up on the little things, I think is important and helps you be successful.
What about you, Art? What about you, Sam? What do you got? What's some advice you want to offer?
No, man, just keep it up. And, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention your dad here, but, you have a good example in him. And I know you had the honor and advantage of coming up and seeing somebody do it right. And, I'm not telling you anything and saying that your dad does it right, but he does it damn right. He's one of the best.
Except ladders.
No, man, does those well too. That was off duty, man. That doesn't count. Yeah. Being attacked by hornets and bees and whatnot doesn't count. But no, man, you just keep doing what you're doing. You've got a great example in him. I know you have some great examples at work. Frederick's an awesome fire department, and you're in a great spot, man. I think anybody of our age, I'm 50. Anybody our age group, and if I could do it again, not to do anything different, just to go through it again, man. So I know you're having a blast. Just keep having fun with it. Have fun. Love the job and have fun.
How about you, RJ?
Yeah, I would tag on to what Sam said, and I'll go even a little bit further, and just say that the best thing that you can do is what you're doing now. And we are big in sharing information, big in sharing knowledge. And for you to come on here and talk a little bit about your knowledge that you've gained in just a little bit of time is huge, because there's somebody out here listening who is a 1 or 2 year person and maybe just not sure where to go or how to do it or where they need to be, and may not have the guidance that you had, or all of us have had for that matter of, it's nice that somebody like you can come on and share that experience. I will say that I am very honored to have somebody like you and all the guys that I get to be a part of every third day. It's a huge responsibility. It's a huge responsibility to have to manage 7 guys, and all 7 guys bring something different to the table. And 3 of my 7 guys, all of their fathers played a part of my life. So it's a huge responsibility. But I am forever blessed that every third day I get to have young. And it really is. My shift is very young. It is, but it is a great to be able to come in every third day. And I have 100% of guys who are all in. And Brayden, it is okay to publicly say to people, you are all in. It is okay. The people who are listening to this podcast are all in. So it is right. Okay. And doctors hang with doctors, lawyers hang with lawyers, and firemen hang with firemen. And that's just how it goes. So that's my parting words for the night, Dave. Take her home.
Yep. Nope, I can't improve on that. Thanks a lot, Brayden, for taking some time out of your schedule to be with us. Keep up the good work. Even if you end up leaving one, if you get transferred, you may go to a station that doesn't run a lot of calls. You may even go to a station that doesn't have a supervisor. Just understand this: continue with the work ethic. Don't let that recliner sneak up on you. Put in that full shift. Go home and like these guys have said, it's okay to love the job. So with that, thanks a lot for listening. And to any of our audience that's listening, if you have any questions, please leave your comments below. We will get right back to you. If you want us to email you, we'll email you or we'll answer you directly in the comments. So with that, fellas, thanks for nice having the whole band back together. For Talkin Tactics. Thank you, Fire Engineering, for giving us this hour just to be regular dudes. So with that,
Later.
see you guys next month.